Hello, my friends from around the world, my shining lights and beams of that living love. Just thought I'd share a little piece here from Joel S. Goldsmith's Thunder of Silence book, and this is chapter 3 at the very end. Very appropriate to all the so called pictures of this world going on presently, as we just continue to remit these so-called powers. But Joel defines it very well here in not accepting good or evil. So I'm going to play you this. Just in that proportion will I fail to bring forth a healing. Healing comes with the realization this is not evil and this is not good. There is neither good nor evil here because God is here. And where God is, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. When we lived in Eden, that is, in harmony and perfection and as pure offspring of God, we were as gods, complete and whole. And the way to return to the Garden of Eden is to give up the pairs of opposites. Complete harmony comes when we no longer desire good any more than we desire evil. Because when we desire anything, although we may think we are desiring good, actually we have not the least way of knowing whether our fulfilled desire will result in blessing or harm. Even as apparently a desirable and much sought after thing as having $1 million can be harmful and destructive, as many people have discovered to their sorrow. Traditional metaphysical teaching would agree that we must rise above evil, but it still looks longingly toward good, hoping to see the evil translated into good. And that is where it makes the mistake, which results in the inability to attain the final harmony. As long as we can be made to believe that one thing is good and another evil, we shall remain outside the Garden of Eden, and one day have health and another day disease, experience youth and vitality one day, and age and debility another day, because there are the pairs of opposites, and they follow one another in cycles. It is only when we do not desire wealth or harmony any more than lack or discord, but seek only that which was original and primary in the Garden of Eden, that we rise above these opposites into eternal life. In this state of consciousness, we are pure enough to dwell in the Garden of Eden, which is a state of desirelessness, a contentedness with being. The original purity of Adam and Eve consisted of this desirelessness. They were constituted of God and given all that they needed by the grace of God. God was their being. God was their life. God even formed and governed their body. All day long, they enjoyed the good things of life, until into the midst of this paradise, good and evil entered their consciousness, after which they no longer walked blissfully up and down the garden, but walked right out of Eden into the world where they became the man and woman of earth. They turned from the sheer joy of being into that state of consciousness in which they had to earn their living by the sweat of their brow, by their mind, and bring forth children in pain. As long as we have a knowledge of good and evil, we too are living in the world like that of Adam and Eve, who were expelled from the Garden of Eden, and we are subject to chance and change, to accident, limitation, and old age. In the 8th chapter of Romans, we read that the man of flesh, that is, the Adam man, cannot please God. He is not under the law of God, and is only the child of God, if so be that the Spirit of God dwell in him. Let us never forget, however, that there is not two of us. There is not a real man and an unreal man. There is not a real universe and an unreal universe. There is only one universe, and that is the real universe. There is only one you, and that is the real you. Actually, the man of flesh is that man, real man, even before the Spirit of God has been awakened in him, because the first Adam and the last Adam are both spiritual. The one pure before he is expelled from Eden, and the other pure after his return. So it is that you and I are that pure child of God, born into Eden, but at this moment entertaining a sense of good and evil. We are moving about as the man and woman of flesh, who cannot please God and cannot be under the law of God, until at some given time in our lives it is revealed to us that the whole difference between the original Adam and Eve, the God-created, pure, eternal being, and you and me, as we now are, is that we know good and evil. If we want to return to the Edenic state and be the man and woman who we were in the beginning, the pure creation, all we have to do is give up our knowledge of good and evil. In reality, such knowledge is all in the realm of theory, belief, or human concept. We must be willing to look upon all the good as well as all the evil conditions in our life and in the world, and state with conviction, I renounce you, both of you. Henceforth, I know neither good nor evil. I know only God manifest. Through spiritual vision, I behold consciousness forming itself in immortal forms, eternal, harmonious, and abundant. Henceforth, I accept only the revelation of the real creation in which there is light, even when there is no sun, and where all is harmony. There is no other way, And whether or not we are willing to accept this idea, the secret of harmonious living lies in the ability to withdraw all our estimates and judgments of situations and people. It is difficult to do this because at first we have to live a dual life. For example, it is unavoidable that we be aware of evil in the world, evil conditions, and at times evil men. There's not any doubt but that, like the Master, we may have to whip those evil ones occupying important government posts out of the temple by voting against them and exposing corruption in high places. Although all this must be done with as much detachment as that of an anchor who plays a part on the stage. In the play, his role may be that of thief who has stolen $1 million. But the crime perpetuated in the play will not benefit or harm him because he has only been playing a part and giving and going through the motions required of the character. An actor does not have to be a villain to play the part of one. He merely has to act like one. And as soon as his curtain call has been taken, he removes his makeup and his own self again. So it is with us. We say and do things in this state of dualism in which we live, but we must learn to smile, an unbelieving smile within ourselves, because we remember that we are only actors in a play, and therefore do not accept appearances at appearance value. True, we have to rebuke evil. Sometimes we have to vote against it. Sometimes we have to talk against it. And sometimes we have to correct children and even grown-ups too. But this has to be done without our actually believing it. Recognizing, yes, that's the appearance world, and the people in it have not awakened to this great secret, that there is neither good nor evil in person, place, or thing. We have to be able to look around at a room full of people with a silent agreement. I know that there is not an evil person in this room, not an evil thought, not a thief, not a liar among all of them. But that is not enough. We have to go a little bit further and add, but neither is there a good one. In our early days in metaphysics, it was difficult for many of us to unsee evil. But it is far more difficult to reach that high state of consciousness in which we are able to rise above good health and good supply, and retire into a realm of consciousness where, even though outwardly we are living a normal life, inwardly is the conviction, I will not accept appearances. I will not accept them. I stand on is. God is, and only God is. There cannot be bad conditions, and there cannot be good conditions. There can only be God. The first chapter of Genesis is the account of a spiritual universe, peopled by spiritual beings who do not live by effect but by cause, who do not live by bread alone.
who do not have to earn their living by the sweat of their brow. Whereas in the second and third chapters, a knowledge of good and evil creates a sense of separation from God, after which man lives by power and by effect. He lives by bread, by money, by the beating of the heart, by sunlight. He lives by all the creature things instead of by the Creator. At the present moment of reading, this may not seem too hard to accept, because if we have renounced and forsaken both good and evil, we are now pure, immortal, eternal being, without sin and unashamed, knowing there is nothing at all to fear, because we are living by God's grace. But let us not forget that tomorrow there will be problems that will tend to throw us right outside the Garden of Eden. Tomorrow there will be mail and telephone calls, which will tempt us to be hypnotized. Tempt us to be hypnotized by the appearance of good and evil. When these moments come, let us remember that is when fortitude is required. But that is also when the grace of God comes forward to enable us to stand fast in our spiritual integrity. The truth that there is neither good nor evil in any form is the secret of non or no power. It is the secret of life for which people have sought throughout the ages. They have called it a search for God, for the Holy Grail. But when they found it, if they did, what they found was that there is neither good nor evil in effect. When they discovered that secret, they had their foot right inside of heaven, because they had found the ultimate reality. It is only the knowledge of good and evil that keeps anyone from the Holy Kingdom.
And yes, so as we realize what he talks of here, the element of renouncing good and evil, in other words, disbelieving. And I know Jesus used other words of remit sin. When you remit sin unto another, you remit it unto yourself. In other words, when you can't remit means to cancel. So when we cancel it in others, we cancel it in ourself. And that's the beauty of him seeing, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. As we see through that in the pictures of this world, that we don't see good or evil. We see God is. God is. And we lose the judgments and the criticisms. We see love. So awesome to share a little bit with you. And again, it's from the Thunder of Silence, the chapter 3, Beyond Power. That's the very end of that chapter. So enjoy. Look forward to talking again when we can. Blessings.